Oh, well, hello everybody. It's been quite a while since you've joined me on the trail now, hasn't it? Well, today we are in the wonderful state of Colorado. And as you can tell, I'm not in the type of area that most people think of when they think of Colorado, because I am not in the amazing mountains. Instead, I am in the extreme southeast corner of the state in a place called the Comanche Grasslands. And currently, I am working my way down into a canyon. Why, you may ask? Well, for one, it's a beautiful area, beautiful day to get out on a hike, but also this canyon contains some fossilized dinosaur tracks, some petroglyphs, and, if my notes are correct, even an arch or two. So let's just quit talking about it and let's just keep on hiking until we get down into this canyon, shall we? We must be on the right track. It's always a good sign. There's actually another sign back there that told me that it's about 4.7 miles to the dinosaur tracks. Petroglyphs should be roughly that far as well. The arches are going to be a little bit further. In total, I'm expecting this to be about 12 miles round trip. So, not a bad little hike. We'll see how bad we're feeling it after this, to be completely truthful with you. Not only have I not been sharing my hikes with you, I really haven't been getting out on hikes that much as of late, so might be feeling it by the end of this trip, but that's okay. It feels good to be out hiking again, so I think we'll be doing a lot more of this again. Looking forward to it. So I actually see something pretty cool right in front of me here that I didn't know was here. It looks like it's probably the remains of an old homestead or something. Yeah, this is a pretty cool spot that I did not know was here. I did read that there's lots of old homestead ruins out in this area. I just didn't know about this particular one, so that's pretty darn cool. Well, I didn't make it very far. The homestead's just right there, but I thought I'd show you this because it's pretty cool. That's the old stove that I assume would have been in there. And then I also noticed over here we have something that almost looks like it may have been part of an old truck, probably some sort of old vehicle. I made a bit of an unexpected discovery. So I mentioned that there were petroglyphs along this trail, but the ones I knew of are much further down, and the trail's meandering past this big rock area, and I happened to glance up and I saw something that looked unnatural. So at first I thought this was just going to be natural because I saw this, and I'm not sure if that's natural or carving or not, but moving up there's definitely petroglyphs. So we have this here, but if we move further up here, we have things that are 100% petroglyphs. So we got this carving here. It looks like it might be like a bighorn sheep or something along those lines. And then over here, we have these here. These clearly, I think, are carvings. I'm not quite sure what they're supposed to be. They almost look like some sort of like snake or serpent or something. And it looks like right here we may have had another one of those bighorn type things. And furthermore down here, you can see some more carvings. Right here, that's a big hand, isn't it? That's really cool. And we have another like serpent looking thing. Wow, this is amazing. Yeah, so this is just an amazing find. I was not expecting this at all, and I'm glad that I happened to just glance up because that is extremely cool. I'm going to kind of walk around this area and see if there's anything else. These petroglyphs, those made the whole trip worth it right there. So our petroglyphs were in that boulder right there. As you can see, there are just tons and tons of these giant boulders out here. And then you got this big old cliff face, the canyon wall, and it just keeps on going. It makes it to where I just cannot help but wonder what could be hidden up in these hills here. I mean, could be petroglyphs, pictographs, who knows, maybe even some ruins up there. for now is going to remain a mystery. But maybe one of these days we'll come back and we'll explore this area a little more carefully. But for now, we've got a lot more to see, so I need to keep covering ground. I spent a lot of time admiring the rock art back there. So, well, I'm truly not making much progress here. I've barely gotten down the trail from the petroglyphs I saw when something else caught my eye here. I don't think it's natural. You may not be able to see it from here, but I see a like zigzag. I can't think of any way this would be natural. If I'm wrong, do let me know. I'm no expert. So what I saw was this right here. And as you can see, it continues around. But then, if we continue to this side, and this is what really makes me think this probably is not natural, this whole face is just covered. I think it would definitely be worthwhile to come in here and explore these cliffs up behind me. Maybe leave a comment if you'd be interested in a video where we come out here one day and just scour this like section of canyon. And I guess this is probably a good time to mention, when you're dealing with areas like this where you're coming across rock art or, you know, artifacts or that kind of thing, you really need to be careful, make sure you're showing respect to the area. You know, these are very precious places that can easily be destroyed forever. Come check them out, enjoy them. Don't touch the petroglyphs, you know, leave the artifacts where you find them. Enjoy it, show it some respect, and leave it how you found it. So I got less than 2 miles to the dinosaur tracks now, so we're getting there. I've come across some more homestead ruins here. You can see we've got a wall here. Not much left of that one, but if we continue over here, you can see we got one that is much more significant. Okay, so now that I'm actually over here, I know what this is, and to be honest, I kind of forgot about it. So in the late 1870s through the 1890s, this area had a small Hispanic community in it. And this was the Catholic Church. So this was the mission and the small cemetery for the small Hispanic community that was here. So the ruins we saw are actually the remains of the Catholic Church that was here. And then next to the church is the cemetery. And if you can make out the carvings on these, you'll notice a couple things. One, they are really nice, intricate carvings. Don't really see headstones like this anymore. But you also notice that they are in Spanish, which should make sense given that I already told you this was a Hispanic community. So this one we can see that the person died the 26th of February, 1895. And there is actually a date on this one behind me here. 1899. I don't know if you can make that out with the shadow. And then if we walk over here, there are 2 more headstones I've seen. We got this one here. It doesn't appear to have a date or anything, but it has really nice carvings on it. And then one more. I can't quite make out the date. I think it's 1896. And then, of course, we walk over here. We have the remains of the church. So that's pretty cool. And again, this has been here since the late 1800s, so that's pretty cool that it's still here. So, as we know, by the fact that I'm hiking to a dinosaur track site, there were millions of years ago dinosaurs in this area. And this area has a rock formation unearthed that is known as the Morrison Formation. And that is the rock formation that is known to contain Jurassic era dinosaur bones. And in 2008, they unearthed part of an Apatosaurus skeleton somewhere in these canyons. I don't know if it was in this exact spot. And among the bones they found was the shoulder blade. And for those of you who don't know, Apatosaurus would have been one of those big, long-necked herbivore dinosaurs. And they found a shoulder blade for it somewhere in these canyons. At some point, they decided to make a replica of that bone. So this is a cast of that shoulder blade that was found here in 2008. I don't know if you can really appreciate how big that shoulder bone is, but I mean, there's my hand for comparison, and it's just, it dwarfs my hand. And maybe this will help put it into some perspective for you. So Apatosaurus would have been roughly 98 feet long and weighed somewhere around 40,000 pounds. You can't even fathom how big of an animal that is. Something else I think it's pretty cool to think about with regards to those dinosaurs is at the time they were walking around here, this would have been very different, obviously. This whole area would have been just a vast conifer forest. And the river valley that we're hiking in right now didn't even exist. It hadn't formed yet. And that's pretty wild to think about. Anyway, we should be at the track site pretty soon here. So this is actually the first view of the track site here. You can see them all around down there. And I believe these would have been from those long-necked dinosaurs, like what we saw the shoulder blade of. This gives us a little overview of some of the tracks we can see here. We got both large and small carnivores, and then the large sauropods, which are those long-necked dinosaurs that we mentioned already. And then we have these guys, the duck-billed dinosaur tracks. Right there is one of the tracks. You can see the 3 toes and then like the heel. Kind of faint, but you can definitely see it. And I don't know if you can make it out on the camera, but there's actually some big ones right here, headed off in that direction. It's pretty cool. And then you can see some of those like brontosaur tracks over here. That's what these were. It's these big, deep impressions from that massive 40,000 pound dinosaur. You can see the trackway just goes all the way down there. Here's another really nice example of a trackway. Well, that's the dinosaur track sites. Not the easiest thing in the world to film, but still very cool to see. I did look for those other petroglyphs I had marked down here. I could not find them, so I don't know if maybe that GPS point's really generic and it's referring to the ones we saw way up the canyon, or if there are more down here that I just didn't see. Regardless, I couldn't find them. Now, I also earlier in this hike said that there should be 2 arches out here. They're further down the canyon, not that far, but honestly I think I'm gonna skip them today, which normally would be a real bummer to skip some arches. But this trip has been so good with just the history, the petroglyphs, the dinosaur tracks, the old mission, that I'm really not too bothered by it. I got a pretty good ways back to the car. I still got like 6 miles to go, so I think we're gonna call it here. But for now, thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you all in the next video.